Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the most fascinating chapters of history. Today, we're journeying to feudal Japan to uncover the story of one of the most iconic warrior classes the world has ever known, the samurai. Who were they, really? Beyond the cool armor and legendary swords, what was their world like? Let's find out. For centuries, the samurai were the undisputed military and political force of Japan. Picture a society structured like a pyramid. At the very top, you had the emperor, a symbolic, almost divine figure, but with very little actual political power during most of the feudal era. The real power belonged to the shogun, the supreme military dictator who ruled the entire country. Beneath the shogun were the daimyo. These were the powerful feudal lords, the big bosses who controlled vast territories and had their own private armies. And who made up those armies? You guessed it, the samurai. The samurai were the warrior class sworn to serve their daimyo. They were the muscle, the enforcers, the protectors, and the conquerors. At the bottom of this rigid hierarchy were the peasants, who made up the vast majority of the population, working the land and supporting the entire structure. So what did it mean to be a samurai? It wasn't just about being a skilled fighter. It was a way of life, governed by a strict code of conduct known as Bushido, or the way of the warrior. Bushido wasn't a single written book, but rather a set of principles that evolved over centuries, emphasizing virtues that were considered essential for a warrior. The cornerstone of Bushido was absolute, unwavering loyalty. A samurai's primary duty was to their master, the daimyo. This loyalty was expected to be total, even to the point of death. A command from their lord was to be followed without question. This bond was the glue that held the feudal system together. Hand in hand with loyalty came honor. A samurai's personal honor and the honor of their clan and lord were paramount. It was something to be protected at all costs. An insult couldn't be ignored, and failure in a crucial duty brought immense shame. This obsession with honor could even lead to acts of revenge to restore a tarnished reputation. To uphold this standard of loyalty and honor, a samurai needed incredible self-discipline. Bushido demanded rectitude, courage, benevolence, respect, and honesty. It was about controlling one's emotions and desires and always acting with integrity. A true warrior was expected to be calm and composed, even in the face of chaos. And speaking of chaos, fearlessness was a critical part of the code. Bushido taught that a samurai should face death without fear. This mindset wasn't about being reckless. It was about accepting the transient nature of life, which allowed them to act decisively on the battlefield. This is also where the grim practice of seppuku, or ritual suicide, comes in. For a samurai who had lost their honor or failed their lord, seppuku was a way to die with dignity, to restore honor to their name and family in death. It was a final, terrible act of ultimate discipline and loyalty. Of course, a samurai was expected to be a master of martial arts. The katana is the weapon most famously associated with them, often called the soul of the samurai. But their skills went far beyond the sword. They were expert archers, proficient with the yari or spear and the naginata, a pole weapon. As warfare evolved, they even adopted firearms, though the sword always retained its symbolic importance. Mastery wasn't just about combat, it was about perfecting their craft through endless, grueling practice. So, how did this powerful class come to be? The rise of the samurai can be traced back to the Genpei War, a massive civil war that ended in 1185. This war established the very first shogunate government, the Kamakura shogunate, effectively shifting power from the imperial court to the warrior class. The age of the samurai had begun. For nearly 700 years they dominated Japan. Their role evolved over time. During periods of constant warfare, like the Sengoku period or the Age of Warring States, they were purely military figures, their lives defined by battle. But during long periods of peace, like the Edo period under the Tokugawa shogunate, many samurai took on new roles. They became administrators, bureaucrats, and scholars. They managed their lord's domains, collected taxes, and maintained order. The warrior became a governor, though they never lost their martial identity or their privileged status. But all eras must come to an end. The downfall of the samurai class came swiftly in the mid-19th century. After centuries of isolation, Japan was forced open to the West by American warships. This event triggered immense political turmoil and led to the Meiji Restoration in 1868. The new government was determined to modernize Japan rapidly to compete with the Western powers. A key part of this modernization was abolishing the old feudal system. The daimyo lost their lands, and the samurai lost their special privileges. In a series of reforms, they were stripped of their right to be the only armed force. A modern, Western-style conscript army was created, open to all social classes. The final blow came when they were forbidden from publicly wearing their two swords, the ultimate symbol of their status. The soul of the samurai was sheathed for good. Just like that, after 700 years of dominance, the samurai class was dissolved. Many former samurai struggled to adapt to this new world. Some found positions in the new government, military, and business world, using their education and discipline to help build modern Japan. Others, unable to let go of the old ways, resisted, leading to a few final tragic rebellions. Though the samurai as a class no longer exist, their legacy is woven into the very fabric of Japanese culture. The principles of Bushido, discipline, honor, loyalty, and the pursuit of mastery continue to influence Japanese society in subtle and profound ways. The image of the noble warrior, with their iconic armor and sword, remains a powerful symbol of Japan's rich and complex history. What do you find most fascinating about the samurai? Was it their unwavering code of honor or their mastery of combat? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. Until next time, stay curious,